minutes past 8 o'clock. Now, we're reporting last night on BBC Radio Bristol, remember, that 1,000 officers could be deployed to police the English Defence League march in Bristol on the 14th of this month. There'll also be a policy of zero tolerance in dealing with any trouble. Let's speak now to the leader of the EDL, Stephen Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson, who joins me on the programme now. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, Stephen Lennon is your name. You call yourself Tommy Robinson. Let's clear that one up first of all. Why the change of name?
Basically, when this started 3 years ago, I was like most people. I was fearful of the consequences of speaking up. So I hid behind a pseudonym. Since my real name's been revealed, I've had 3 official Osman warnings from the police saying that people were planning to kill me. I've been hospitalised with bruising on the brain. I've had to move my family 3 times. This is what comes when you talk out against the so-called religion of peace. And I think our local organiser now in Bristol, yesterday, I had nothing called from him. He's got police guard at his house. He's had pictures of his children posted through his door. So this is why people hide behind pseudonyms and fake identities.
All right, well, we'll come on to why that sort of approach to the way you're dealing with things seems to have come. Tommy, I'll call you out for the sake of this interview, but what do you stand for? The English Defence League. People are listening to this morning. They've formed very many views on what you were all about. Tell me in a nutshell what you stand for.
We started as a pressure group to oppose militant Islam, to oppose a fascist ideology. Not all sects of Islam. There's some great sects of Islam out there, Sufis for an example. I'm the first person to admit some of the best people I've met through growing up in Luton have been Muslim. We're not against... That's
the old line, is it? I'm not racist, but...
But we're not against Wahhabi, Salafi, Deobandi, certain sects of Islam, Saudi funded, which promote non-integration, which are fascist towards non-Muslims, which are extreme, are flourishing. No one's challenging them. Islamism, political Islam, 7th century Islam, Sharia law, all these things are on the rise. No one dare talk about them. The reason why they don't dare talk about them is because what I just explained to you.
People are talking about them all the time, aren't they? You know, there's worldwide intelligence against all sorts of terrorism, wherever that might come from. Why do you think people aren't talking about extremism?
Only in the last 3 years have people started having this debate, because we're out. Only in the last 3 years have the police started cracking down on Muslim paedophile gangs. That's simply because of our organisation. They've been allowed to operate for 20 years under the radar, with the police knowing it's going on, with Islamic leaders knowing it's going on, with no one stopping it. As soon as we get on the street and start highlighting it, we see a massive crackdown.
But the police have been cracking down on paedophile rings for the last number of decades. This is nothing new, and it's not peculiar to one particular community.
No, but grooming is. The grooming in gangs with young non-Muslim children. 85% of arrests are Muslim, yet 3% of this country is Muslim. Why is it so overrepresented? This is a problem which stems within the Pakistani Muslim community. We've even got Pakistani Muslim leaders now coming out and being brave enough to say it. We've got Baroness Rafti saying it, the conservative lady. We've got brave Muslim people coming out and stating the facts, and the facts are that members of our community are being groomed and raped and pimped by sections of the Islamic community, and it's been allowed to go on.
Why don't you just come out against extremism wherever that extremism might come from, Tommy? Why are you picking on one particular community and one particular group of people who read the Quran?
Because if Nazism and Islamism are opposite sides of the same coin, they're identical. If Nazism was flourishing in this country, if it was gaining power, if it was infiltrating, if it had 100 courts, like we have 100 Sharia law courts, yeah, we'd be coming out against that. But quite frankly, in this country, the problem is Islamism. And when we talk about the Quran...
The problem is Islamism?
Islamism, political Islam.
I thought you said it was radical Islamism.
No, Islamism is radical. There is no moderate Islamism. It's like there's no moderate Nazi.
You talk about your organisation looking for where hatred is coming from. Aren't you breeding that hatred by having these sorts of demonstrations where other people are coming and 1,000 police are going to be there and £1 million spent to police it? Aren't you breeding that hatred?
You can't be breeding hatred by simply talking about issues. We condemn violence. Our last 30 demonstrations have been completely peaceful. So just because we wish to talk about an ideology, we're somehow called racist. What race is Islam? What race are Muslims? There are no race. This is This is a fascist ideology.
Because when you look on the forums where the English Defence League are mentioned, the language, the hatred towards people of who read the Quran, Pakistanis and the like is absolutely horrendous, isn't it?
Not on our forums. It's not. No, you have the odd post on Facebook with current control, which straight away the people are blocked. But we talk. If you read certain quotes out of the Quran, that's hatred. Kill the disbelievers wherever you find them.
What do you make of the Anders Breivik connections? And I know you're going to say that there are various parts of the manifesto, his manifesto, which got quite a lot of coverage. But but getting mentioned in that time and time again, how do you tell people about that link? That one of the worst mass killers in history mentions the English Defence League.
Well, actually, he killed 67. The Prophet Muhammad killed
77.
But the Prophet Muhammad killed 3,000.
Well, come on,
that's one of the biggest killers in history.
Come on, you've got to connect. Are you happy enough to be mentioned in the same breath as Anders Breivik?
I'm disgusted by it. That man is a monster. He took children away from their parents. He will be remembered for that.
And yet part of his ideology very much matches yours.
Part of his
Islamism.
ideology very much matches every single person who wants to oppose Sharia law, who fears... Yes, if you're asking me, do I think Islam is a threat to Europe? Yes, I do. There's 44 countries that have turned to civil war where Islam has gone. It has never ever in history peacefully coexisted. Never. Not once. In a country. It is, wherever Islam is, we have war, we have domination, we have supremacy, we have murder.
Yeah, let me ask you a couple of quick fire questions on this. How do you describe the people who follow the EDL? How would you personally describe those people?
As a multi-faith community.
A multi-faith community. So the people who will be standing at your demonstration, Tommy, in Bristol, are a multi-faith community, and the language and the rhetoric that they use is a multi-faith community.
Yes, don't believe the media campaign. Come and listen.
We are the media. We'll be watching what happens.
That's what I tell the people from Bristol. Come and listen to what happens. We've got a member of the LGBT community giving a speech. As you've seen in the paper this week, we have a lot of Sikh support, Hindu support, Jewish support. We represent all communities that are a threat from Islam. That's it. And just because we wish to talk about these issues, everyone starts talking about the pricing of our demonstrations. It's cost us £4 million. But what
people see though with your demonstrations are what look like football firms from the 70s.
See, this is the problem you have, stereotyping, because you wouldn't...
You're not stereotyping, you're describing what they see.
Okay, well, you don't describe every Muslim with a beard as an extremist or a terrorist. So you shouldn't describe any man just because he looks like an average-age man wearing designer
If that's the case, Tommy, do you agree that there's an image problem? Is this the English that you're proud of? Is this the England that you're trying? Is this the England that you're trying to defend?
I agree that politicians and media have downright stereotyped and called anyone who's English of middle age and with a bald head a hooligan or a racist. That's what happened. That's the categorising people.
But many of those people, you can look like what you like, and I agree with that. Never judge any book by its cover. There's nothing wrong with the way people look. But many are going about their business. They're not standing up yelling at people who come from a different race or community.
They're not yelling. They're standing up and using their freedom of speech, which is a great thing we have in this country. And you know that the Metropolitan Police Domestic Unit, they label groups like the English Defence League. We are centre. We're not even far right. And they have advised Muslims to enter dialogue with the English Defence League because they are not...
David Cameron, the Prime Minister, wanted an investigation into the English Defence League in the wake of the Anders Breivik situation.
Yeah,
in
they've done their investigation and found no ties.
Well, I don't know whether that investigation is... You mentioned multi-faith, the Bristol Multi-Faith Forum. Muslim people went to them and said, look, we're worried, we're disquieted by what's happening. Can you do something? They're holding a separate demonstration the following day. What do you say to ordinary Muslim people who listen to what you're saying, Tommy, and are very, very worried about what might happen next week?
I'll just explain to them that however worried they are, we are extremely worried and have been worried.
Well, two wrongs don't make a right, do they?
No, they don't. We are extremely worried. We are in fear for the future of our next generations with the problems around their ideology, and we ask them to reform it. And reform it in the way that it fits in and it works the same way. Sikhism, Hinduism, Judaism, it hasn't changed in 1400 years. We can't have a 7th century ideology.
We'll have to leave it there. I appreciate you coming on the programme. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.